Kuzuzampo, you're watching Bhutan This Week with me, Sonam Pem. Our top stories this week. The deadline for completion of Punachangshu 1 hydroelectric project extended to 2021. Agriculture Ministry to focus on achieving food self-sufficiency in the 12th five-year plan. And Bhutan loses 14-0 against Oman for the 2019 AFC Asian Cup qualifiers. Punachangshu 1 hydroelectric project received another 2 billion yutam from Government of India on Wednesday. The deadline for the project completion is extended to 2021. So far, Punachangshu Project 1 alone received about 72 billion yutam from the Indian government.
The Indian ambassador to Bhutan, Jaideep Sarkar, handed over the 2 billion yutam check to Economic Affairs Minister Lekidoji. 1,200 megawatt Punachangshu 1 hydroelectric project in Wandipota was supposed to be complete by November 2015. However, due to the sliding of the right bank at dam site in 2013 summer, the commissioning of the project got delayed. Building safe and secure dam over unexpected rock surfaces is impeding progress of the project.
This is primarily due to unforeseen circumstances, mainly the unexpected geology of that area that our engineers have encountered once the drilling has begun. And given the size of the project and the size of the structure that they are building, which is quite unique in engineering terms, I think the most important thing is to build a structure which stands the test of time.
The construction of Punachangshu 1 project began in November 2008 at a project cost of 35 billion yutam. The project cost increased to 93 billion in 2015. As per intergovernmental agreement between India and Bhutan, 40% of the amount is grant and 60% is on loan. Currently, about 80% of the work is complete as per the construction progress of the report. This is Passa, PBS News.
17 households of Drakting Gewok in Tongsa have refused to accept the compensation provided by the Mangdichu Hydroelectric Project Authority. The villagers were compensated after their houses developed cracks due to ongoing project works.
People are blaming these trucks for causing cracks on the walls of their houses located near the highway. The trucks travel several times ferrying construction materials to the project sites. Locals allege that the trucks travel at high speed. After a joint verification by the Zongkok administration and the project authorities, the affected households were compensated. The highest compensation paid was little over 8,000 yutam and the lowest 193 yutam. The 17 affected households received a total of 44,969 yutam as compensation. One of the affected residents, Funsodema from Charne village, was provided with just over 2,000 yutam. But she says she needs more than what was provided to repair her house.
The
Volvo trucks, when they move every time, shakes the house along with the ground. In January, the cracks were small, but it is widening every day, and there are countless hairline cracks all over the house. So I don't know why they decided to compensate us. If they do not want to give, it is fine. It is useless to accept such small amount.
Like Funsodema, all 17 households have refused to accept the money. The compensation, according to them, is not enough to cover the cost of repairing their houses.
Even in the village, we need to pay at least 500 yutam along with food and beverages to hire people. But they just give me 318 yutam. It is less than a man's daily wage. Even if they are not hesitant to give the money, I am embarrassed to receive the amount. It will cost me not less than 5,000 to 6,000 yutam to repair the house, as I need to buy cement and sand. A bag of cement costs over 400 yutam.
Our houses are suffering more damages day by day.
If we accept the little compensation, they will say they already paid us. The compensation is less than a day's wage, so we will not accept it.
They will have to investigate the extent of the damages thoroughly depending on the size of the house and compensate accordingly. The compensation they provided cannot repair the damages at all.
Dr. Gapkin Langdoji said he regrets accepting the compensation money and will soon return it to the project authority. Meanwhile, the Zongkok administration has sent a letter asking MHPA to further investigate and compensate the residents as per the damage caused. For Sujaman Thapa in Tongsa, Pup Game for BBS News.
The national flower of Bhutan gets a new scientific name after being discovered as the new species to science. The scientific name for blue poppy was earlier misidentified as Meconopsis grandis. The new scientific name for the national flower of Bhutan will be Meconopsis gakidiana.
After 3 years of complex study conducted by the National Biodiversity Center and Blue Poppy Society in Japan, it was found that the national flower of Bhutan was misidentified as Meconopsis grandis. Meconopsis grandis is not found in Bhutan.
The earlier name of our national flower is Meconopsis grandis, and that was named based on a specimen collected in 1933. Through our field experience and studying live specimens in the field, it was found that our national flower is very different from Meconopsis grandis. And so we authors decided on a new name, and it was given Zongkha name, which is Kakit. So this was the name was inspired by the concept of GNH. So now the new name is Meconopsis gakidiana.
Meanwhile, 2 new species of blue poppy were also discovered in addition to the national flower of Bhutan. They are described as Meconopsis merakensis and Meconopsis elongata. The new species can be found in Merak, Saktin, and Ha region. Pasang Doji for BBS News.
Doctors warn against excessive use of emergency contraceptive pills to prevent pregnancy that could lead to infertility due to STIs. Many young women use iPil and unwanted 72 available in the country. When more than 50% of the population are young people, the use of emergency contraceptive pills are on the rise.
The emergency contraceptive pills like this are easily available in the medical shops, and the demand is increasing. Though the hospital provides pills, but people prefer buying over the counter.
Compared to last year, we have a little more increase of people looking for iPills. Initially, last year I should say there were around 5 to 10 people looking for iPill every day. But nowadays we have about 15 to 20 people looking for iPills every day.
The pills might stop unwanted pregnancies, but the problem is yet to begin. Abusing such contraceptive pills could lead to pregnancy complications, irregular menstrual cycle, loss of fertility, and hormonal imbalances in long term.
Avoiding pregnancy is not enough. You have to avoid STIs that have long-term implication on the fertility, future fertility. So iPil will not make them infertile, but STIs can make them infertile.
Therefore, doctors discourage women from using the emergency contraceptive pills regularly.
iPil should be used only as on emergency basis, not on regular basis. So it's wrong that a married woman or a woman with a regular partner is using iPil. They should be using normal pills or even injection or use copper T if they really don't want to get pregnant. iPil is only for people who have partners that they meet once in a while.
The emergency pills are actually meant for people who are victims of rape and sexual assault. The emergency contraceptive pills were introduced in 2009 to reduce the illegal abortion across the border, but it was banned a year later after it was used irrationally. It was reintroduced in 2011 on the condition that the Health Ministry trains pharmacy owners on its usage and creates awareness on family planning services. Doctors say such pills may prevent pregnancy but not HIV, AIDS or other diseases. Pema Saldan Swing for BBS News.
Achieving food self-sufficiency will be the main area of focus for the Agriculture Ministry in the 12th Five-Year Plan. The ministry completed its final phase of consultation with the 6 zonkuks in the east.
The ministry plans to meet 60% of the country's demand for rice internally. This is an increase of 15% as compared to the current 5-year plan's target. Similarly, through formation of cooperatives and reclamation of fallow lands, among others, the ministry plans to increase production of vegetables, fruits and dairy products.
When you talk about the focus, I think there are many things that the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, in collaboration with the local government, is doing. We are in almost every nook and corner of the country doing many things.
Alongside gearing towards self-sufficiency, the ministry will also explore markets for various farm produce. Today, officials say although farmers produce a variety of crops and vegetables, its marketing is not extensive.
But as long as we are able to meet the self-sufficiency within the country, I think marketing should improve. Now we are trying to focus more on the marketing. It will all be in a coordinated approach. Whatever is being produced in the fields, whatever is being produced from the local areas, we are also trying to see how we could better market them first within the country domestically, and then if there's excess, how do we export them.
The ministry will also continue addressing lack of irrigation facilities and human-wildlife conflict. As of today, the country is self-sufficient in terms of egg production. This is the first time the Agriculture Ministry is visiting every zonkuk to provide a clear picture of its plans and targets. Around 3 billion Yutram has been allocated for the ministry in the 12th Five-Year Plan. Compiled for Sringzam in Kanglung, Yishigalsen, BBS News.
The Dispute Settlement Committee of Samrup Jongkha Thomde fined a house owner recently for violating the Tenancy Act of Bhutan 2015. The committee received an unlawful eviction complaint from one of the tenants.
According to the Tenancy Act of Bhutan 2015, the owner shall have right to evict if rent has been owing in respect of the rental unit for 2 preceding months, the tenant refuses to vacate the rental unit after the expiry or termination of the tenancy, the tenant does not comply with the terms and conditions of the agreement or the provisions of this act, and the tenant creates nuisance to other tenants or carries out any dangerous activities. However, the Thomde Dispute Settlement Committee found that the tenant had not violated any of these clauses. The owner had issued a notice to vacate the house without any valid reason. The committee imposed a fine of 8,250 Newton on the house owner. For unlawful eviction, the Tenancy Act states that the owner or lessor who evicts the tenant or lessee shall be liable for a fine equivalent to 1 month's rent. The person evicted shall have the right to be reinstated to the rental unit. By law, the party not satisfied with the decision of the committee may directly appeal to the Royal Court of Justice within 10 working days. The Dispute Settlement Committee of Samrup Jongkha Thomde was formed last year, and so far it received only 3 complaints. Compiled for Kilewancho in Samrup Jongkha, Sharab Dorji for BBS News.
Bhutan is regarded as one of the exclusive travel destinations in the world today. Despite its small landmass, Bhutan has incredible abundance of flora and fauna. But the country lacks professional nature guides to provide information about it. This is attributed to lack of nature guide training institutes in the country.
26-year-old Kharkabadu Gurung is a trained nature guide. For the last 4 years, he has been with tourists talking about birds, animals and plants. He spent nearly 2 months at the Ugin Wangchuk Institute for Conservation and Environment in Bumthang to become a nature guide.
Just to know the name and like a plant name or a bird's name is not enough. So we should know the habitats. We should know in which season where the birds can stay. What kind of birds will stay in which season. By doing training over there is not enough for our life to walk. Because that training is just a basic they will teach us, but we should develop our own career. We should be learning, we should be asking to our expertise, research. We have to do different books research.
That is why nature guides earn more than other tour guides. Experts are said to get as high as 4,000 yutam every day while on tour. But there is lack of trained nature guides. Though people get trained at the institute in Bumthang, it is not enough to meet the increasing demand. And that is where experts from outside the guiding business are hired to fulfill the needs of nature lovers visiting the country.
And a lot of the tourists now actually come for the to see flora and fauna. In fact, if you really look at birding now, the number has been almost the tourists. I think last year we were told that we received almost around 2,000 to 3,000 tourists who wanted to see birds only. Once they land in Paro, they see flora and fauna. They see birds, they see trees. They want to know these things.
Through my experience, I went in the Panbang where I lead the group. They are more interested in learn the nature. What I encounter is, when they ask the name of flowers, the trees, birds, and the types of fishes when they see. So it felt a little bit, the occult to see the name of, because I was not specialized. So it's very important for to have a specialized nature guide in Bhutan.
However, Bhutan Institute of Himalayan Studies, a private institute in Thimphu, will provide nature guides training beginning May this year. It is expected to address the shortage of trained nature guides. Sonam Chodin for BBS News.
Flights from the Yunfula domestic airport in Tashigang are expected to resume by May this year. After a delay of about 5 months, the airport resurfacing works are expected to be finally complete by the end of April. The airport should have been ready by October last year.
The airport resurfacing works at Yongphula are nearing completion exactly after 2 years. The works started in April 2015. The runway will be complete with 2 layers of blacktopping. Currently, works are underway to blacktop the first layer. A group of officials led by the Information and Communications Minister visited the airport last week to inspect the work progress.
The work is going on very well. It's up to the mark only, as well as it will be completed.
Dari lasu leshumbera jode de la di suya lecha da thidi jodo ye mase shadi jinemi nankilo ra judu nime de namshi joda yumiluten khawagi ni india pharjang begop thensoin de inru lasu de chichira shiba judu kham chile judu subire wa yip mase khaba digi ya besu zelabdi
Get complete work from the contractor, as he has confirmed as well.
But he said the technical verification will be carried out at a later stage. Following the resurfacing works, Yongphula Domestic Airport will have over 1.4 kilometers of runway, which is 80 meters wide. The runway has been extended by about 300 meters.
After the completion of the repair work of this airport, is going to serve all the eastern Dzongkhaks.
Hani namdu thangi nyamchi gi latsu be sawi gale sharchu zongkhak gi miser gara lu phendo jung de dima se sharchu gi sani suna tashil na omi taship sulu ya phendo jung de sharda nubgi bana jungnam jaki bewi ga yuple namdu than nyamchi gi ladi kade jojo chi be judugop di keche
Has to be completed as soon as possible.
The airport reshaping works began in April 2015 after the runway's gradient was found not up to the international standard. Asian Development Bank funded 218 million Ngiltram for the resurfacing works. Compiled for Sringzam in Kanglung, Yishe Gelson, BBS News.
An initiative to reduce the use of plastic bags in Samrup Jongkar vegetable market proved successful. Samrup Jongkar Thomde started the initiative last year to reduce waste in the town.
Rather than enforcing the ban on use of plastic bags, Thomde officials in Samrup Jongkar say they first need to create awareness. So Thomde began the initiative by creating awareness among the vegetable vendors, as most plastic bags are used in the vegetable market. Vendors have also welcomed the initiative. They now use plastic bags only to package products like rice, flour and flattened maize.
The use of plastic bag has reduced compared to the past. Even the surrounding now looks clean. Most customers carry their own shopping bag, and those who do not carry buy bags from here.
Previously, when there was no such initiative, we had to use 1 kilogram or sometimes half a kilogram of plastic bags every day. But this has drastically reduced now. Now we use only around 5 to 6 pieces of plastic bags in a day.
But vendors say it is challenging when customers come without any shopping bags and ask for plastic bags.
It is convenient if people bring their own shopping bags. We have to keep some plastic bags as some customers ask for it. If we don't give, then they do not buy vegetables.
Sometimes it is not convenient. It would be nice if people bring their own bags. Some of them do not prefer to buy the bags we have, and without the plastic bag, they do not buy our vegetables.
The Tomde has been able to reduce 35 kilograms of plastic bags in a month from around 30 vendors following the initiative. Bhutan banned the use of plastic bags in 1999. The ban was later reinforced in 2005, but plastic bags are still widely used across the country. For Kileonchu in Samdubjonkar, Pup Game for BBS News.
Bhutan suffered the worst possible start to their 2019 AFC Asian Cup qualifiers with a 14-0 defeat to Oman. The Dragon Boys took on the host team in Muscat, the capital city of Oman, on Tuesday.
Oman made a flying start as they scored within the first 2 minutes of the game. The home side, though, had to wait until the 26th minute to add a second. But that kick started a run of 5 goals in the final quarter of an hour of the first half.
ولعب في العديد من المباريات كرة مرسولة داخل منطقة الجزاء أرضية خطيرة الرابع أوه لا زالت خطيرة الله
Oman added its 8th goal of the game 10 minutes into the second half. Pirin Basnet netting an unfortunate own goal. Oman extended the lead in the 69th minute with a header finding the back of the net. A minute later, Bhutan conceded one more, taking the score to 10-0. The scoring spree continued with 13 minutes remaining. By 90th minute, Oman stretched its lead by a dozen goals. 2 more goals followed in the stoppage time. Sherab Doji for BBS News.
And staying with the game, Bhutanese football fans received the news of 14-0 defeat with mixed emotions. While some call for more attention to the sport, others feel there's always a room for improvement.
It was right here at the Changlimitang Stadium back in March 2015 when Karma Sherup Siring and company stunned Sri Lanka 2-1, marking Bhutan's journey to next year's FIFA World Cup in Russia. The journey, though, came to an end with a spirited performance against the Maldives. After all the heartbreaks during the World Cup qualification campaign, yesterday's 14-0 hammering against the hands of Oman was a bitter pill to swallow for Bhutanese faithful back home.
We haven't developed at all. Yesterday, when we conceded 14 goals, I was surprised. There was no chance of winning, as Oman is a developed country. I thought we would concede up to a maximum of 5 goals.
Yesterday's match was yet another eye-opener for our country. Oman, without doubt, is at a better place compared to Bhutan in terms of football and maybe other developments. But we did not expect that Bhutan will lose with such a huge margin.
When I heard Oman scored 14 goals against Bhutan, I was really disheartened. Although I'm not among the national players, I'm disheartened like one.
But there are others whose hopes are still burning regardless of the defeat margin.
Yesterday, when Oman played Bhutan, we conceded 14 goals.
Bhutanese should not be disheartened with the result. Oman is a developed country. Football came to their country way before here. The Bhutanese players tried their best. Here on, I hope they will do better.
From one point of view, it's disheartening because it's our country, but participating is more important than winning. Conceding 14 goals is okay, but I would have been proud if we had scored at least 2 to 3 goals.
Bhutan lost to Oman 14-0, but then we the Bhutanese are not discouraged. I hope from here on, Bhutan will be able to play better than this.
In a bid to qualify for the 2019 AFC Asian Cup to be played in the United Arab Emirates, Bhutan will play the Maldives next. Though the Maldives lost their opening group game against the Palestine 3-0 yesterday, recent history between Bhutan and Maldives is on the island nation's side. With camera person Chimiranjan, Sharab Doji for BBS News.
After 4 years without international tournaments, the national men's cricket team will take part in the ICC World Cricket League Division 1 for Asia region next month. The league will be played in Thailand.
The upcoming tournament is a much-needed experience to the young national side. Placed along with heavyweights like Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Kuwait, preparation and selection of players for the national team started with the district championship last winter.
We have prepared well, I think, because we had a one-week training camp in Galifu, and then after that we went to Assam to play a few matches, which was really good for us because we are young side and lots of youth who are into the team.
Despite the youthful squad, the head coach is confident about how the players are adapting.
It's all depend on the practice, it's all about discipline, your approach, commitment, and this is something I'm putting in their mind and putting them into practice thoroughly, and then more about this time we are working on tactical areas, and I think these boys are doing well.
After the dissolution of Asian Cricket Council in 2015, development of cricket in Bhutan took a huge blow. International tournaments dried off and funding for domestic competitions took a heavy punch as well. The last tournament being the ACC Elite Cup in 2013.
After the dissolution of ACC, there was a really huge impact for a country like ours, because we basically in the past years we were getting a tournament a year. But now even that has been stopped. So as a country and as a participating nation in the cricketing department in the world, we have lacked that tournament experience.
The upcoming tournament will be 50 overs format. The winner will advance to the ICC World Cricket League Division 5. Sharab Doji for BBS News.
That's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.